Well, there's been a lot of attention about Disney World's price hikes and even major publications openly talking about Disney's pricing, perks that have been removed. And even according to the Wall Street Journal, there are people inside of Disney that are concerned about Disney's pricing and, quote, being addicted to price hikes in recent years. So to say there's been a lot of talk about Disney's pricing is probably an understatement. But on that topic, we have another rumor out there revolving around Disney's pricing. And that rumor is that Walt Disney World and Disneyland may move to airline-style adaptive theme park ticket pricing model. And I think potentially this could be something different than maybe a lot of people are reading into about this, but we're going to read through this and give some thoughts on it. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. It says, after facing criticism over the cost of a Disney theme park vacation, Walt Disney World and Disneyland are looking to bring highly variable ticket pricing structure that will be similar to airline tickets. The concept of ever-changing ticket prices was introduced at Disneyland Paris back in November 2024. As we noted in our November 2024 article, Disneyland Paris has been an upcharge testing ground for the Disney Experiences division under the leadership of Josh D'Amaro. And we wouldn't have been surprised in the slightest if variable ticket pricing came to the domestic theme parks. According to blogmickey.com sources, Walt Disney World and Disneyland are eyeing the possibility of bringing that model stateside. At a high level, the idea is that ticket prices will change based not only on seasonality, as is the case now, but also on demand. Under the new system, ticket prices can change at any time during the period that they are initially released, usually a year or more in advance, and when you finally purchase them. So I said, let's dive into the details. So first, let's start with the nuts and bolts of the rumored change. If Walt Disney World and Disneyland choose to activate the highly variable ticket pricing model, the price of a ticket will initially be set by existing seasonality rules. From there, the price of the ticket will be dynamic, adapting to demand for any given day. That means that the price of the ticket could change months in advance or overnight. The only way to guarantee the price of a ticket is to purchase it. So I think that is definitely part of this. And if you look at the airline pricing model, I think it's Disney trying to get people to purchase their tickets, book their vacations as early as possible. Essentially saying the earlier you book this, at the very least, your pricing isn't going to go up if you book it now. I mean, very well, if you wait, it can go up. I suppose it could go down, which we'll talk about in a second. But you're trying to get people to book as early as possible. And I think that's one major, I guess you could call it a feature for Disney that they would want out of this, is trying to get people to book their trips and buy their tickets earlier versus waiting. For example, the price of a ticket to Magic Kingdom on June 10th is currently $179 for an adult. If Disney ends up announcing that the new Disney Starlight Parade will debut on June 10th, demand for a visit to Magic Kingdom that day could surge, and so too could the price under the new system. In the past, the price for a single day would be set and could be relied upon to stay that price, save for an annual increase in ticket prices across the board. With the new system, the price of a ticket could vary by the hour based on demand. Nothing like complicating a Disney vacation even more by having fluctuating ticket prices essentially by the hour. In terms of simplifying your trip and booking it and things like that, it definitely won't help on that end for sure. So this will mark a monumental shift in how guests purchase tickets, likely forcing them to purchase earlier in the vacation planning process to ensure that prices won't go up. Disney is said to be planning on making some system updates soon that would support this new pricing model, although it remains to be seen if Disney actually implements the dynamic ticket pricing or sits on it for a bit. As of published time, Disney World has not announced any plans to change its ticketing model, and just because the theme park giant will be able to change pricing, it doesn't mean that it actually will do so. It says it's also possible that Disney will roll out the dynamic pricing model to its hotel rooms in the future as well. Do I think this will probably happen? Honestly, probably. I could definitely see them moving to this. And so you do look at this, and the first thing I think you look at is you just say, oh, Disney's going to jack up ticket prices even more, especially on busier days. While that's true, part of this could potentially be if Disney is anticipating a lot of competition from Epic Universe opening and potentially looking at an attendance hit. And I know Disney has kind of said different things about the impact of Epic Universe. Months ago, they said essentially they were looking that it was going to help them. They were going to see a bump in their attendance and rising tide lifts all ships sort of scenario. And then the most recent financial report, Hugh Johnston, the Disney CFO, said that they anticipate a minor impact from Epic Universe. Now, what minor means, I don't know, but they definitely have sort of shifted what their phrasing is about what Epic Universe may do to help them or hurt them. So if you're looking at it from that scenario and you have that sitting out there, Disney also is running discounts, and they run discounts, basically all theme parks at some level will run discounts, and they've been running pretty significant discounts running into this summer with Epic Universe opening. And with a lot of the talk out there about Disney being too expensive, and they themselves, at least internally, some people at Disney were saying that the intent to return has not been very high. And I think being worried about what the ticket, the price increases and all that stuff is doing to the overall attendance trends for Disney World. And then on top of that, what Universal could do with Epic Universe, competing with them, what kind of an impact that could have on the parks. What this type of pricing model could do is allow them to lower ticket prices without having to basically, I guess you could just say publicly, almost have to admit that their pricing is too high. So is this a way that Disney potentially could use to sort of run cover for what Epic Universe could potentially do to their attendance? I think that's possible. If you look at it from that scenario and they look at there may be an attendance hit, they could lower prices a bit without having to publicly come out and just announce like, hey, our tickets, we're lowering our ticket prices. They just blame it, or they just say it's attributed to this adaptive ticket pricing. Also, the discounts are running on top of it to try and get people to come into the parks because, again, I think the only thing they're going to really be able to compete on the next few years is going to be their existing demand that they have, but also the pricing that they can offer. And if they can get low enough on tickets and entice people to come over that way, that is a way to do it without having to run, let's say, massive discounts where you're running 50, 60% discounts. I don't know if optically they want to run even more significant discounts, because they may not want the optics out there that they need to do that, because, again, there's been a lot of heat about the pricing of Disney already. And essentially that would be almost them admitting that we're too expensive. But if you do this adaptive theme park model here, you potentially make more money in high demand times. You also maybe get more people to book trips earlier to try and lock in a lower rate. But at the same time, it does give you the ability to lower ticket prices and then also have your discounts that you're running, where you can essentially entice people to come over due to a lower pricing. So I think, yes, Disney wants to make money, and they're always wanting to make more money. And, I think they even said this year they're going to raise ticket prices yet again. But at the same time, and let's say that Disney thinks they're going to see an impact on attendance from Epic Universe, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. But if that were to happen with, say, Epic Universe and not as many people coming over to Disney, one of the last things Disney wants are, parks that aren't very busy. Because a lot of people are going to point out, hey, the Disney parks are not that busy. Epic Universe is pulling people away from Universal Studios, and that becomes the narrative. That's a potential on this. But at least in my mind, I think that's a potential way to look at this and what could happen with this. Again, I'm not going to be surprised if this happens and just would further sort of complicate a Disney vacation, add a little bit more stress to it. If you're talking about a family planning a trip, and, you have this stress of, well, let's book it now because the tickets likely could get more expensive. And you could run the risk if they do lower. You could say, well, you could gamble and say maybe the tickets will be lower, but it would be a gamble because who knows how much of that could vary per price or per ticket. Is something that people would have to take into account on this. But like they said in the article, it's just a rumor at this point. But it's one, again, we've seen this at Disneyland Paris, and they talk about in the article, that's kind of the testing ground for a lot of the things they do sometimes is out there in Paris. If I were to bet, I think more than likely they will adapt this. And if they do this, it's very likely you could see Universal do this as well. So if they were to do this, I would say they would do this before the summer, as they'd probably want to do this, before Epic Universe opened, and then also before you would have your more into the fall with the holidays and things like that. We'll have to wait and see on that, but either way, that is going to be it, though, for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about this potential adaptive theme park ticket pricing model that is rumored to maybe come to Disney World? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.